welcome to the Topic Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm here to bring you the player ratings from the disappointing draw against Manchester United. Obviously lost out due to a VAR decision in the last seconds for a goal that shouldn't really have been ruled out from Dominic Calvert-Lewin because Calvert-Lewin was apparently lying in the way of David De Gea, even though he didn't seem to have much of an influence at all on what happened. Obviously Carlo Ancelotti's had a go at the referee and being sent off for confronting the referee on the pitch after the game, so we don't know what impact that'll have going forward. Maybe a touchline ban, unfortunately, but I think that's unfair. Cavani just felt intimidated after making a poor obviously it was VAR that overturned the decision, but he had a pretty poor match himself, the referee, so difficult afternoon, a very fiery match. But yet the player ratings, Jordan Pickford's a difficult one really, because obviously he gave away that first goal, and I will give him a much lower rating if he wouldn't have made an absolutely brilliant double save in the latter stages of the game, which was top class in front of obviously the watching Gareth Southgate. So that redeemed himself a little bit, so I'm going to give him a middle mark of a 6, because obviously that first mistake was really bad, but he more than made up for it in my opinion with that double save, which was outstanding, and obviously denied Manchester United from getting ahead in the latter stages. So yeah, Jordan Pickford, I'll give him a 6, somewhere in the middle. The defenders, Coleman started the game, obviously only played for about half an hour, had to come off injured. He was doing alright when he was on the pitch, up against obviously Martial is always going to be a difficult task, so he gets a 6 as well. Yeah, he's obviously come off injured. Hopefully it's not too serious, because that right back situation is a bit suspect at the moment, when we've got 2 decent right backs but no outstanding one really. So yeah, centre backs, Michael Keane obviously coming back in for Yerry Mina, which is an interesting one. I'm not sure what was going on there, because I thought Mina had done enough to keep his place, but yeah, Michael Keane didn't do badly at all, to be honest. Thought he came back in quite well. Looked like he hadn't really been away, so I'll give him a 7, because he played quite well. I got obviously against his former team as well. Quite a good performance from Michael Keane. Mason Holgate did really well as well alongside him. I'll give him a 7 as well, because he looked obviously, as always, confidence in possession, and he did well out of it as well. Kept Mason Greenwood very quiet all game pretty much. So yeah, 7 for Holgate. Leighton Baines obviously did really well. I'll give him an 8, because he was really rolling back the years once again, putting quality ball after quality ball into the box, especially from corners, none of which we could convert. Obviously Harry Maguire seemed to be winning every single one, unfortunately, but it didn't stop Leighton Baines from trying putting that ball into the box. Unfortunately, obviously we couldn't convert, but he had a really good performance himself. Onto the midfielders, Theo Walcott's obviously come back in, not done the best. Obviously he found some form just before that injury, and he's come back in, and I don't think he's recaptured that form today anyway. Hopefully we will be able to in future performances, but he didn't do so today, and it's a 5 from me. A pretty subdued performance before he had to be brought off. Andre Gomez coming back in from the start was brilliant to see. I thought he did really well in the middle of the park, so he gets a 7 out of 10. Obviously difficult task up against Bruno Fernandes, who's in really good form at the moment since coming in that team, and Fred and McTominay obviously just behind him as well, so it's a difficult midfield battle, but Andre Gomez has done well, 7 out of 10. Obviously Tom Davies alongside him, it was an interesting decision to bring him back into the team, considering the options. Obviously there's not too many options at the moment in terms of quality, but he came back in. I'd give him, I don't think he did too well, to be honest. I'd probably give him a 5 out of 10. I think he maybe looked a little bit off, considering he hasn't played in a while. Obviously Ancelotti's changed things up a little bit, and I don't think that benefits all of the players. I think that sometimes they do need that consistency. So Davis, pretty below par performance from Tom Davies in my opinion. He can do a lot better than that. Gylfi Sigurdsson on the left really does frustrate me sometimes. I think he's really good from dead ball situations, and when he can get the ball under control with no pressure, but apart from that, he really does frustrate me during majority of games. So apart from some good things, he did obviously hit the post with a free kick and did alright in other parts of the game, but for me not good enough. So probably for the good things he did in the game, I'll give him a 6. The strikers, obviously we've got 2 decent strikers in there at the moment and doing quite well. Dominic Calvert-Lewin really impressed me again. Should have had 2 goals. But yeah, he gets an 8 out of 10 for that. Obviously, it should have been the winning goal, really. Poor VAR decision, but he did really well anyway. Richarlison as well did well today. Track back, as always, intensely. 7 out of 10 for him. Obviously, had a little bit of a quiet period, I thought, during the game, but it kept at it. Did pretty well, so yeah. Onto the subs. Sidibe came on, and as much as I've defended him on Twitter this week, he had a pretty poor game. Obviously, gave away that goal and did some questionable things as well in the game, so he's lucky to get a 5 out of 10. Yeah, and I do think that's generous, to be honest. He did some good things, but pretty poor off the bench from Sidibe, unfortunately, today. Yeah, other subs. Bernard came on, wasn't able to do too much on the right hand side, not on the left, which was interesting as well to see him on a different side to usual, and I don't think he was able to do too much. But he didn't do too much wrong either, so I'll give him a 6. Moise Keane came on in the latter stages. I won't give him a rating because he didn't have enough time to do much at all, unfortunately. Would have liked him to come on a little bit earlier, but yeah, probably can't give him a rating because he wasn't on the pitch long enough. Carlo Ancelotti, obviously difficult. Would have liked him to come on a little bit earlier, but yeah, probably can't give him a rating because he wasn't on the pitch long enough. Carlo Ancelotti, obviously a difficult day for the manager. I think he could have done a little bit things a little bit differently. Unfortunately, obviously, I absolutely love Ancelotti, but today was a difficult day, obviously getting sent off as well at the end. I don't think... He's a really calm fella, but I don't think he could control, as many Everton fans were the same, control the anger at the injustice that was that decision at the end. So he gets a 6. I do think he needs to stick with the team sometimes. I know he wants to have a look at all these players, but I do think consistency is key sometimes, and you've got to keep that. So they're my player ratings. Let us know what you think, whether you agree, disagree. Let us know in the comments, like the video and subscribe to the Toffee Blues. Thanks a lot for watching, and join us next time.